Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday. It's 2:30, and that means it is live stream with Mary Jo. I'm Mary Jo Coulihan, the Executive Director of the Pagosa Springs Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to our show this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. The first day of February. Boy, where did January go? It flew away from us. And just because Winterfest is over does not mean that Pagosa is slowing down for our winter activities. We have lots of stuff going on. So we're going to talk a little bit today about some important business information, as well as some activities that are coming up in our community. Again, let's give a little history. This show started with COVID and a central place for businesses to come and get current information as well as our community. We still continue to put forth that information, and today is it's not unique. I have a message from San Juan Basin Health, and this is important for our businesses to communicate to your employees. So we will be sending out on Friday in our updates and reminders this notice. It would be really important for you to potentially print this notice and put it up in your place of work because that is for employees that are taking advantage of the SNAP program or the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Most people know it as additional, what used to be food stamps or food credits. There was some extra funding that happened during the COVID years, and those benefits are ending in March 2023. So for those employees that are taking advantage of some of these additional SNAP benefits, that is going to end. However, it's important that you let your employees know that if they qualify, they may be able to get on WIC programs. So that is, again, for women, infants, and children. That's that acronym. And if any of your employees may be pregnant, if they are women who even recently had a baby, and households with children under the age of 5, they can qualify for this WIC program, and that is additional food credits that they can take advantage of. You know, with prices the way they are in a number of our different industries, including food procurement, this is an important benefit. So be just up there, up front, be a great employer, and have this information available to your employees. Please make sure that you get this information out to them because they may not get this information, or you have someone new to the community that has joined your business, or someone that is just recently has a child, may not know about some of the benefits here in our community. San Juan Basin Health does a wonderful job, and this is one of those programs they can participate in. So please, as you should every Friday, look at your updates and reminders. Look for this flyer. If you need it, it will also be available on our website starting next week. And you can print that flyer and post that in your business. So please, this show, again, wants to communicate some of these important business guidelines and expectations that are out there, just like we did the Family Leave Act. I'm assuming that all our businesses are current and up to date in getting those tax deductions in on your QuickBooks or your accounting programs. The other thing that I want to mention, which is super important to us, is next Wednesday will be our annual meeting. Now, we've kind of changed the format of our annual meeting to make that the beginning part of it a community conversation. And then the second half of that meeting is to honor our community award winners, which includes our small business, nonprofit, volunteer, and citizen of the year for 2022. So there are going to be two really important components to this meeting. We did this last year. We broke out into housing and workforce development subgroups, and it was really well received. So this year we're going to be doing that again, but on different topics. So tickets are $25. You can purchase those on the Chamber's website, pagosachamber.com. Just click on our graphic and you can just get your tickets right then and there. $25. And again, you get this hour to an hour and a half of key community information. You are a business owner or even just a resident in our community and wanting to learn more about what is going on in our community on some really important issues, you can come to this meeting. It's open. And then, of course, take the time to thank a number of these businesses, nonprofit organizations, and individuals for the work that they are doing in our community to make it such a vibrant community. I also want to mention two things. We have some outgoing board members that will be leaving the 3-year term for the Chamber of Commerce. So we want to thank Dale Scrivener. We also want to thank Dan Rosenblatt and Meg Wimpy, who have been with us for years and have been working, and we just so appreciate the work that they have done. We also want to welcome 3 new board members coming onto our board, and that is Lauren Crawford, who's the owner of Pagosa Massage and Body Works, Blue Pitcher Lindner, who is the co-managing broker for Jancy Pitcher Real Estate, as well as Pat Tackett. Everybody knows Pat with TBK Bank in their marketing. So 3 great individuals in our community joining our board. So one more quick announcement, and that is on February 7th, which will be next Tuesday, the Pagosa Springs Senior Center, or the Pagosa Seniors, Inc., will be hosting an open public meeting to talk about some of the programs and services that are affiliated with the Older Americans Act. So there have been some changes to that act, and they will be hosting a public forum next week at the Senior Center, which is located inside the community center, and that will be held from 2 to 4. So please make sure that if you are near or at retirement age and you're wondering what's going on, you might want to attend that free seminar, again, from 2 to 4 next Tuesday, February 7th at the Senior Center. So with that in mind, we've been talking about the annual meeting and that there are going to be 3 really important discussions being held. We are really lucky to have 3 leaders in our community that are participating with the Chamber of Commerce. We will have Derek Woodman, who's our county administrator. He will be talking about some of the upcoming possible guidelines for short-term rentals. Now, everybody knows the county has been working with the task force to develop some guidelines on short-term rentals in our community. Those, some of those recommendations, or phase 1, are anticipated to be released to the county commissioner soon. So you might be able to get the scoop on this and come to our meeting and find out. We also have James Dickoff, who is the Community Development Director for the town of Pagosa Springs. The town is incredibly busy on a number of projects, and one of the things they're working on, obviously, is our downtown and our east side corridor. So we'll be looking at several projects like the First Street Bridge, the East Side multimodal connection, and what might be happening over there. There's the Rumbaugh Bridge. There's projects associated with CDOT. So that is another component that will be very, very important. We have a lot of businesses downtown and on this corridor and through the whole town of Pagosa Springs. So these projects may be affecting your business. Please come and find out from the source what might be happening. And last but certainly not least is our guest today, and that's Kat Mcfadden, who is the coordinator for the Main Street program here in Pagosa Springs. She also wears another hat, which is the Community Development, or CDC, coordinator, and she is the Community Development Corporation, and she is their administrator. But Kat, we're here to talk about your presentation and your engagement with the Main Street program, which is a totally new program here to Pagosa Springs, very business centric. And you're going to be giving an update about that program, how Pagosa Springs got designated. Now, we don't want to give it all away because we obviously want people to come and hear you next week. However, can you give us a little background about, I mean, people will say, what is a Main Street program?
Right, absolutely. Well, at its core, Main Street is really a community-led effort that focuses on the revitalization of a town's downtown district within the context of historical preservation. And I think the best way to get a grasp of what Main Street has to offer, the program has to offer for communities, is to understand a little bit of the background. So if I'll just take a few minutes.
Sure, please.
So, back in the 70s, officials really started to notice with the urban sprawl that businesses and governments were moving away from the downtown core of towns and municipalities. And that was causing a lot of communities to really lose their essence and their charm and their history and their character. And so the National Trust for Historic Preservation actually launched a 3-year demonstration project in 1977 that focused on Main Streets. And out of that emerged this Main Street America concept and a 4-point approach for the program. So we're talking back in the 70s. So this program has been in existence for a very, very long time at the national level. And then each of the states have adopted their own statewide level.
Okay.
So ours is the Colorado Main Street program, which is operated through the Department of Local Affairs. And it is also funded by the Historical Preservation Society. So it's a great mix of revitalizing communities to make them vibrant, to make them economically sustainable, to make them beautiful, to make them destinations and places where people want to live, work, and play, but also to preserve their character and their charm and their history and promote the history that the towns have to offer. So that's what Main Street is all about. And we are now an official candidate of Main Street. There are only 23 official candidates in the state of Colorado, and we were honored to be selected as one in December. So that's kind of a background of what the program is. It's all about bringing community together, bringing together stakeholders to work towards essentially making our downtown district the best it can be.
Well, that's amazing. And we did have to apply. We had to go through a process. We had to show them that we actually can work towards being a cohesive group.
Exactly. And in fact, Pagosa Springs started this initiative several years ago, about 6 or so years ago. But only recently did they have the resources that they could dedicate to getting the program up and running. So we became what they call an affiliate, which means we're interested in the Main Street program. What do we need to do to become a part of the program? So we did that in 2021. And then in 2022, we demonstrated our ability to get organized and be prepared to become a candidate. And that included hiring me as the Main Street coordinator at the end of March last year. And then I launched some kickoff meetings. I had a community survey, brought people together to get community input on, okay, this is your program, community. What is it that you would like to see for your downtown? And how can we utilize the assets that we have? Because we have so many amazing assets in our downtown, with the river and all the businesses and the historic buildings. I mean, it's a wonderful destination. And it's all about making that the best that it can be. So we brought people together. We got lots of interest and public engagement. We selected a wonderful, amazing Ferrari engine type advisory board. And then we did some strategic planning to develop our plan. And that all culminated into a final application that I put together and submitted on October 30th. And I'm happy to report that we didn't think we would find out that we became a candidate until January, but we actually learned in late December that we were selected as a candidate. And they even said it was the best application they've seen in more than 5 years.
Oh,
So
that's great.
lots of pride
Congratulations to you
for
all.
our community and all the effort that everyone has put together to make this possible.
So, Kat, have we identified, what is that, the parameters of the Main Street? Is it like, a certain street number to the east side? Where is that going to be?
That's a wonderful question. And during my presentation, I'll actually present a map that includes the boundaries. But to give you an idea, we're really focusing on the downtown corridor. So if you think about 160 from about the library or Sage all the way to 84, Lewis Street, because that includes a lot of our historic district, all of Lewis Street, Hermosa Street, Hot Springs Boulevard, and then the connector streets that connect that together. Okay. So if you kind of draw a square around all that, and of course that includes the river that runs through it, and that's our designated area. Now, does that mean only that area benefits from this program? Absolutely not. Our whole community will benefit from this program. And we want to emphasize that anytime we do anything for Main Street, even if it occurs within those boundaries, our goal is always to improve the overall community and engage the rest of the community as much as possible.
Perfect. So without giving anything significant away, can you tell me why, as a business or a resident in Pagosa Springs, why I should come next Wednesday and listen to you? Because what are you going to tell me?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to give a little bit more history about the Main Street program. And then I'm going to give an update about where we are and where we're moving forward this next year. And then actually tell the community members how they can get involved and how communities actually benefit. I'm going to give some numbers that are just be very surprising, because we now, as a candidate, we have access to grant funding, to scholarship funding. And in fact, in 2021, the revitalization of Main Street grants doled out $6.7 million to Colorado communities. So we've just got a lot, and as a community, we do have to find creative sources of funding many times. And this just unlocks so many opportunities for us to do that. And I don't have to remind you that you're well aware in 2023 and in 2024, hopefully not beyond, but we have major construction projects planned that are going through our downtown corridor. A primary focus of the Main Street program is going to be supporting those businesses through that process, to do as much as we can to keep business as usual and people coming downtown, even despite the construction. We want to do some really, really super fun things to encourage people to come down and get involved, like everything from decorate a construction cone contest where you can scan a QR code and vote for your most creative construction cone. We've got to live through this process to get to the end goal, which is going to be a major improvement for our community. And it's so important for the Main Street program to help businesses in any way we can through that.
Well, that's great. And of course, the Chamber of Commerce is just so thrilled to help support that program. Everybody's like, this is something else and additional, but let me tell you, this is so specific, and you're absolutely right. The funds that have been unlocked to help us through some of these projects and programs is just phenomenal. Well, I don't know, Kat, but I certainly want to come next week on Wednesday, February 8th, beginning at 4:00 at the POPOA Clubhouse, to listen to you and Jane Stickoff and Derek Woodman talk about all these programs that are so key in our community right now. These are hot topics in our community. This is not a complaint session. This is an educational session for people to come and learn and figure out, okay, what are our next steps? So we are so excited, and thank you so much for being on our show today, but also for agreeing to speak next week. We're looking forward to listening to your full presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on your show, and what a wonderful resource for our community that you have the show each week. So thanks again for having me.
Thank you, Kat. I appreciate it. All right, folks. So now you've got a taste of what's coming up next week. Don't you see how many programs and we're changing, and you are part of that. And as a business owner, you should be engaged and you need to be knowledgeable. Before we go off the air, I want to give one quick thanks, and that is in the next couple weeks, you're going to see our sponsors here for live stream. We just had Winterfest, and unfortunately, we weren't able to fly either morning, but we wanted to give an extra shout out to all our lodging facilities that helped us through this time and helped put up our visiting pilots. Today's sponsor is the Alpine Inn of Pagosa Springs. We want to thank Sophia and John over there. They are always so generous to us, and we appreciate it. They are clean, they are comfortable. If you haven't seen their breakfast room, it is stunning, and we love you over there. So thank you. We just wanted to give an extra shout out to all our lodgers that helped us along with Winterfest, and we just wanted to thank you again. And thank you, Pagosa Springs, for joining us on this show. And we hope that we see you again. Just jump online and purchase your tickets for next week. We are going to have fabulous food by Pagosa Baking Company, and we'll have a cash bar and, of course, lots of information, fabulous networking. And thank you to all of these individuals and businesses and organizations that have done so much for our community. Let's get out there and support them and thank them as we thank all of the businesses for their nonprofit, small business, volunteer, and citizen of the year awards. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this week. If you have any questions about next week, again, this meeting is open to everybody, not just chamber members. And if you can't come online or you're not sure if you're going to be able to make it, you can also purchase tickets at the door. We hope to see you there. Thank you, everybody. And because we will be at the POPOA Clubhouse next week, we will not be having live stream. You've got to come out and see us next week. It's going to be better than any live stream. So come and see us in person next week at the POPOA Clubhouse. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week at our annual meeting.